I'm Paul Wahlbeck, Dean of the George Washington University Columbian College of Arts and Sciences. Today I'm talking with Sarah Bender, a professor of political science at GW. Welcome, Professor Bender.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start with the obvious. Tell me about your reaction to the election and its import for the partisan divide in our country.
We'll know more once all the data shakes out, but there seems to have been a pox on many of these races on some of these candidates. Democrats, first of all, they outperformed the fundamentals, meaning they outperformed the president's poor approval and they outperformed the economy. What else is left? Candidate quality. Who were these Republicans on the ticket? Many were endorsed by President Trump. So the quality of the candidate matters. What else matters? The Supreme Court ripped up the right of reproductive freedom this summer. I think that probably energized a lot of Democrats to turn out to vote in a midterm election when the president's party, with these bad economy and approval, might have sat home.
So thinking about both the House and the Senate, how's that going to have an impact on the governing that we're likely to see, or the policy outcomes that we're likely to see in the next 2 years?
We're in a period of very slim House and very slim Senate majorities. That makes it hard to legislate. Big public problems, immigration, climate, health, entitlements, that means that not a lot gets done, or at least to get stuff done, there has to be incentive for both political parties to go to the bargaining table. Now, that happens. We saw in this past Congress, they did climate change, they did something on prescription drug prices, they did infrastructure. Things do get done, but the stars have to align to give the parties an incentive to want to help out.
In 2 years, we'll have a presidential election. What do you anticipate taking place?
We don't know whether Biden will run again. It would be historically unusual if he didn't, but we'll see. On the Republican side, the lack of a red wave in this year's midterm elections is going to embolden other Republicans, especially some governors like DeSantis in Florida or Youngkin in Virginia, to think about whether this is the time to take on Trump. It's a little hard to know what shakes out, but nobody's really expecting anything to really shake up these basic pattern that we're in, which is polarized, highly partisan politics with slim majorities and possibly with, again, a president winning the presidency by winning the Electoral College but losing the popular vote.
So are there any lessons that we can glean from the midterm election with respect to the state of our democracy?
The machinery of voting elections, the worry about misinformation, the worry about election deniers. I think it seems that some of the steam will probably be let out of those concerns, in part because some of the winners in the states, in particular the winners of Democratic governors in that Rust Belt area of Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, places where there are concern about quote-unquote election deniers, there may be some sense of dodging a bullet with these particular outcomes. But these long-term concerns that you have a Republican person in the shape of former President Trump who continues to push this sort of election denying and claims that he won, that's not gone away. So I suspect there'll be more effort to try to kind of shore up these various places and points in the system that can be hurt by that type of election denialism.
Well, thank you, Professor Bender, for sharing your insights.
Sure, thanks for having me.